All right, we are back. Hey, Miss Sarah.
Hey, Mr. Shawn, great to see you
Uh,
again.
Good to see you as well. We're back for another episode. Um, so I've been going back and forth on this. We used to have. I have my vlog where this is
hmm
where I put this up, and then we also put this on the podcast stream or feed. And we used to have the at your service episodes. So this is
hmm
kind of a service-based episode of the CRM Audio podcast, right?
Right.
Um, but I was going through my cleaning out my folders in my computer, and I saw the logos from at your service, and I was in my phone cleaning, doing the same thing, and I still saw I was still subscribed to the old feed. It's like, oh. And then I had to clean up my website and my
Okay.
domains. I got it, because the domain for atyourservicepod.com is coming due. I'm like,
Okay.
oh. So, you're like, oh. But, anywho's, welcome to everybody to an episode of CRM Audio. And this is our service based episode. We're going to talk nothing but either customer service, field service, or project service. That's what we do. Plus, we'll meander a little bit. No big
Yeah.
deal. So, still, pandemic. I'm all scruffy. Not no need to shave shave more than once a week. But how's everything going with you?
It's going good. I like many others in the tech industry are still very busy. We're still doing a lot of work, keeping busy and working from home. But yeah, just keeping up with it and still focused all on Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. So, it's not the same stuff every day, but it's paying the bills, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
There you go. That's all you can do, really.
Yep.
And it's interesting because there's still a lot of needs out there, regardless of what's going on in the world. And it's nice that we have a platform that we could offer those kind of solutions. So, well, there's a number of things I wanted to talk about today because I was messing around with some public preview stuff.
Okay.
And remember back in the day when you wanted to see a preview feature, what would you do? You'd go to the settings tab, right? And you'd say,
I think
you want to opt into previews and super simple, right?
Yeah, back in the days, I remember you'd go to a website and say, "Hey, here's my instance URL, and
Right.
I'd like to enable for this preview," and say, "Yes, I'm an admin. Here's my credentials." I mean, you wouldn't give them your credentials, but say, "Yes, here,
Right.
I can authenticate. I am a valid user here," and they'd
Right.
implement it for you. I mean, you really wouldn't have
Right.
to do anything. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. And it's different now. And I get it because there's so many different streams, so many different apps, so many different teams. You're not just dealing with a CRM team anymore, right? So a little while ago, I enabled the public preview for field service inspections. Well, let me caveat it. I didn't implement the preview for field service inspections because I kept getting it wrong.
Oh no.
So I had to get James Bowen to help me get it done. And I think, oddly enough, in some way, Ben Vollmer actually enabled my preview. And what it turns out is I misspelled something, which gummed it all up. And you're probably saying to yourself, spelling? I didn't know there was a test for a public preview. It's true.
Right.
There's a new process, and there is a docs article. And let me pull that up so I can show you. Let's see here. There we go. So this is the docs article, and I'll put this in the show notes. And for those of you listening on the podcast, I pulled up the Microsoft Docs article on how to install preview features for Dynamics 365 Field Service. So what you can see is there are some prerequisites. You have to know your org ID, and you have to run PowerShell. So I've done a
Wow.
little bit of PowerShell, not a lot. But luckily, the steps in the docs article are really well documented, so it does help, and it gives you some sample information that you can cut and paste in, and then put in where it has quotes. Put in your information, right?
Okay.
And then you install the API. And then you run your commands for your URL. You run your command to get the preview flights, and then it gives you a list of which preview features you want to use.
Okay.
And then you find the ID, and then you run another command.
Wow.
And then you install or upgrade the preview version. So, I mean, it's not hard to do. It does help if you correctly spell the name of your org, that you don't add a J, apparently, like I did. And yeah. So that's been fun. So yeah, that's that. Those are the steps. And again, for those of you listening on the podcast, I'll put those in the show notes. But it's a bit of a task to get the preview flight installed. However, I will say this: once it's installed, when they make updates to it, you get those updates. You just have to upgrade your field service, and you'll get the updates. So that's fantastic. They're coming up soon with a update to field service inspections, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, that was. I wonder if they're going to do the same for customer service. I could see them doing it for stuff like omnichannel, new features and stuff.
Right.
But
yeah, it's interesting. Is we go from a DOS based operating system, and I wouldn't say it's really an operating system, but just using DOS and all your command lines for it. Then we go to a graphic user interface for, doing a lot of our work. And then now, PowerShell. You got power in the name, so it's got to be good, right? But I'm like you. If you give me what to copy and paste in there, I will get it to work. I think to deploy. If you to deploy the SDK, for example, you do have to use PowerShell. And that's like, oh, okay. Let me take a stab at it. And then for some, it's just like, yep, I can do whatever. Right. And for some administrative tasks, it's really great. It's surprising that we would do this for field service. But I mean, if it's a faster way to get a preview and it's going to help it work better. I don't know if that's proper English or not, but yeah.
Well, and I think the other part of it is there's so many different teams within the field service team now.
Right.
That's with inspections, with time entry, with just regular field service, with the new schedule board, with the mobile client. There's so many different new features. I mean, that's fantastic. I love that part.
Right.
But then once you get a public preview, then how do you enable it, right? So that's another example I can show you. And again, for those listening on the podcast, I am going to share my screen to go into my resource scheduling app in my instance. So with the new schedule board, it's only available in the resource scheduling app. It's not yet available for field service.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first caveat. If you get the public preview and then you go into your field service app and say, "Oh, let me see the new schedule board," well, it's not there, right? So to enable the new schedule board in the public preview, you have to go into your resource scheduling app, and then you go to settings. And once you go to settings, go to administration. once you get to settings administration, there's a new area called Modify Schedule Board Settings. Click that. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull up what looks like a solution, but it's full screen.
Oh,
okay?
wow.
Yeah. So now you click on Controls. And then for the Schedule Board Experimental, you click Web. And you'll notice that phone and tablet are disabled.
Right.
So even in the new schedule board is not available on the new Field Service Mobile yet. Then in this property down here, you have to make sure, now I already had mine enabled, so that's why it's already set its value. But by default, this schedule board preview experience, the value is disable preview. Okay. So you have to set that to be enable preview. Okay, so that I have it set for enable preview. I have the schedule board experimental in web, and then I save, and then I publish this. So this is an actual new solution you have in your environment schedule board setting.
Wow.
So I'm updating my.
That's just interesting. Yeah, it's definitely, you're definitely seeing the evidence of people, different groups of people used to doing things different ways, and and I think we're going to see that as the products continue to evolve.
Yes.
And continue to grow. That for a lot of these groups, here's my problem. It's a nail. I've got a hammer. I'm going to do it this way all the time. This other group, different method for that. And as a consultant, it gets to be a bit of a challenge. And I know that we've talked about this before, that you've got one group that's built this really great functionality, like a WYSIWYG editor for email, right? Or a little bit more rich text editor for email. That might be in sales, but we don't see that in customer service, where we desperately need that as well in some cases. So it's kind of dealing with some of that functionality, and hey, great, can you go talk to customer service and show them how you did this, or can you just give them the code, because we need that. And it's great that all these groups are innovating, but they really don't need to collaborate with each other sometimes. But it'd be great. Maybe we'll get that, and we'll see this functionality all over. Like you say, this new schedule board, to have that appear in field service soon.
Yep. And then conversely, for any scheduling experience, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So especially if you're extending custom entities to be schedulable, right? Or in customer service for service activities, for service scheduling.
Yes. Yep.
So, okay, so now we've done that. So I'm going to go back to resource scheduling. And then I'm going to go to my schedule board. And when we load the schedule board, wait, this is supposed to be a lot faster, right?
Only when you're not doing a demo and you're not recording it, it goes faster.
Actually, no. There's one more setting you have to change.
What? I see this big preview option up there.
That would be it. You notice I have it set to off. So now when I set it to on, watch how crazy fast the new schedule board is. I mean, you could literally, and I kind of did that on purpose, so that you could literally see how much faster it loads.
That is pretty cool.
Also, you could see how much it looks like the unified interface.
Oh, yes.
Right? So watch. Preview off.
I'll go get a cup of coffee. Just hang on.
That's right. You can go ahead and schedule this to switch so that your utilization is appearing correctly.
Oh, my word.
Okay. Okay. And then preview on.
Game on. There it goes. Those of you listening on the podcast, check out this video.
Yeah, and there'll be a link to the video in the show notes.
Pretty awesome.
It is very apparent how much faster the new schedule board is within resource scheduling. And right now, the new schedule board experience is really only available in hourly view, not day or week view or month view.
Okay.
Right. So you can see, and you can see that how you have the new opaqueness. That's very nice. And you got the little icons like this showing it's scheduled.
Yeah, because this looks a lot cleaner, and maybe it's because we don't have the weekly hour, the different views or all the different commands. I think when someone looks at that schedule board the first time, it's like, what do each of these do? I kind of do the basic, just drag and drop, or do what I need to. But this, this seems a little bit more intuitive. I'm liking this.
Yeah, and if I want to drag this, I can drag it.
But, which that hasn't changed, but I really like that.
But do you notice what's happening at the bottom of? And again, those of you on the podcast, watch this video because it's really cool. At the bottom of the what I'm dragging for the work order, it's showing the date, the time range, and the assigned, potentially assigned resource. So as I change it from developer to David So, to crew 1, to Jamie Redding, to Molly Clark, and the time, it's shifting the time.
So you know exactly what resource you're dragging this onto. Very nice.
Right. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, that's really cool.
But that's how you enable, a preview. So, so it's very cool.
Very neat.
I'll go ahead and stop sharing that there. But yeah, I just wanted to show that, it's if that's the experience going forward, it's not terrible. It's actually very straightforward. And again, it is totally on you to make sure you spell things right. If it wasn't for me misspelling, I really wouldn't have had a problem. It really wouldn't have a problem. But yeah, we're actually with one of my clients, we're looking at the inspections in public preview, and and since we have that installed, we can, we're going to get that update, and it's going to, really really impress them. So I'm excited about that. But from a customer service standpoint, I had a different situation. I wonder if you can help me.
I'll certainly try.
Okay. I had a need to install omni-channel in my environment, right? And I went to the Maker Experience, or not to the Maker Experience, the admin portal. I went to my resources, Dynamics 365 apps, right? Found omni-channel, install or configure, and I couldn't configure anything because nothing was installed. So then I went back and I went and installed it, and it failed every single time. What, I have to be doing something wrong.
I don't know what I can tell you. I've had the same issues. So
okay.
Sorry.
My next step was going to be spin up a trial of omni-channel just to do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of aggravating.
Well, I think when we talk to people, when we talk to people at Microsoft that are in customer service, and we ask them what's the biggest thing that you think is happening this year, and it is omni-channel.
Right.
It isn't the easiest to get a hold of.
No.
Like if you I'll give you an example. I paid for a customer service instance because you have to have customer service enterprise,
right,
specifically for that license. And when I'm looking to try get it installed, I couldn't. I think it was like, oh, contact us, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to contact you, and you're going to. I'm a sucker. I'm a people pleaser, so they probably would have gotten me to buy F&O for 20 users. Dynamics 365 Finance,
right? or supply chain
for 20 users, or supply chain management. Exactly. I probably would have spent another $1,000. I'm like, exactly. I just wanted one user to work with it. So, no, I've heard that if you do a trial and then you add your customer service trial to that should install omni-channel for you.
Well, but then the other hurdle I ran into, I got an error message that actually gave me some information. Said I didn't have a digital messaging plan. And I
Yeah,
went,
I think you said it was
okay.
just one, right?
Right. So I said, okay. So I went to the M365, the Microsoft 365 admin portal, and went to purchase services. I couldn't find a digital messaging plan anywhere in there.
I could, but I couldn't add it, and that was part of it. I'm like, maybe that's what I'm missing. So it's not an intuitive experience, and
No.
with omnichannel, that's one example. We work with a lot of we work with a lot of government cloud customers, and wanting to use Forms Pro, for example, we ran into a problem with that because I can't find the right phrase for it, but it wasn't quite ready for GCC, although they said, yep, it should be available for it. So we had to wait a little bit of time for them to get that figured out. So I think that's a challenge as well for a lot of people is
right.
Microsoft has done an amazing job, I think, of trying to give you the products to try out and use as soon as you can, and you really don't need to pay somebody to do it or have a partner do it for you. There are some areas where we can improve, like this.
Right.
I think if omnichannel is the best thing, which I'm excited for it, and want to show it to some of my customers, it's got to be a little bit easier for us to at least give it a handle, give it a try. I understand the digital messaging part, sort of, that you need to have that, but
it's kind of a tale of two cities, right? It seems like on the surface, you look at the two paths on how you implement the features, and you're thinking, oh, omnichannel is all through the normal UI, everything is hunky-dory, great. The field service, you have to do PowerShell, oh my God, what the heck, blah, 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 right? And in reality, the PowerShell way is so much easier and smoother. Yes. Isn't it crazy?
So now that you say that, I'm kind of like, where's the PowerShell command to just put omnichannel there? The multi-session capability, that's what I want. I don't want Bless Unified Service Desk. I loved it, but it was, you really had to do a lot of configuration for it, and I think it's just a little bit more intuitive with omnichannel. So, let us show that hard work that Microsoft's done, and let us be able to feature it and make it easy to deploy.
So well done, field service team, I think is what our bottom line is.
Yep, I think we're coming to that solution.
Yeah.
At first I thought, oh no, I have to do something in PowerShell.
Yeah. And again, I will say this a number of times because I know when I post this on LinkedIn or Twitter, Ben will probably comment on it. Yes, I can't spell to save my life, apparently, and that is a prerequisite to get the PowerShell commands to work properly. So, but yeah, it's
where's the AI and machine learning to say, hey, Shawn, I'm thinking you spelled this wrong. Yeah. You might want to fix it.
Well, I didn't install that. I didn't install that preview feature. So there you go.
And no disrespect to those who love PowerShell. I want to be as talented and skilled as you guys are to be able to do this.
Absolutely.
Yep. And we're gonna get experience with this now, so that's even better.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and even though it's not coding, it gives me flashbacks to when I was coding in college for my one class that I had to get for my degree. And I've told this story a bajillion times, so forgive me if I've said it on the podcast before. But my first time coding, I wrote my first program. I was very proud. I debugged. I got 10 errors. I'm thinking, whoa. First program, 10 bugs. That's not bad. I'm going to be an amazing developer. I fixed those 10 bugs. I debugged 375 errors. So I said to myself, we're never coding again. And I looked at my friend who was next to me and I said, hey, you're really good at this. I'm clearly more of an architect. I'll do the pseudocode. We'll work projects together. And hey, there you go. So, yeah. And it wasn't cheating because we could work in pairs. So it's fine. But, yeah.
I'm glad you clarified that because someone might be, reporting that to your professors or something like that.
No, I don't. I claim no street cred on the development side. So I'm clearly a pseudocode kind of guy. But
yeah, gosh, that's bringing back development days for me as well in college. Going through that and writing COBOL and C++, and doing it all command line. And I thought, what the heck? And I don't want to sound old, but kids these days don't know what it was like back then.
No. When you have to upload your assignment in Pine, the email client Pine. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was having a conversation. I think it was with Allison Mulligan. We were talking about a band we saw in concert. And I'm like, oh my God, I saw them 30 years ago. And I found when the concert was. And it was legit in 1990, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I felt 3,000 years old. Mm-hmm. Maybe 4.
Yeah.
I was definitely carbon dated. So, yeah, anyways. But yeah, so lots of neat stuff. But I'll include links in the show notes for all the articles. The doc site is great. David Clark and team are doing a great job on those articles. But and thank goodness for that, because otherwise I'd never follow anything on how to do anything.
Yeah, this is not service related at all, but we were doing something. With Microsoft, and they had a really clear, detailed doc on exactly everything I needed to do, and it involved Power Automate and doing like an HTTP request, and like, oh boy, I hear nightmares about this. Right. Either nightmares that it's hard to do, or nightmares that it's a premium connector, all that great stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I started it. I got to go have dinner. I came back. I'm like, all right, I've got the next 3 hours free to do this, and I got it done in like 5 minutes. Like, yeah. It's supposed to be this easy. Luckily, it was an internal thing, right? So my customer's probably not like, oh my gosh, she's going to bill me for 3 hours, but it was internal. I'm like, 5 minutes. I'm like, woo. And then, just adapting it. But, they've done a great job of investing in that platform. I mean, if I want to look for something, that is the first place I look to see how can I do this, and good instructions. So yeah, kudos to that. And hopefully all the other teams will follow that PowerShell example. Mm-hmm. Of being able to get previews and features available. Hint, hint, on my channel.
I am a convert. That's for sure.
Well, you've converted me now, so there we
go. See, huzzah!
Power of PowerShell, everybody.
There you go.
It's got its place everywhere.
Well, and like you said, it's got power in the name, so it's good.
It's got to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we've covered it. What do you think?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, as always, Miss Sarah, it is always nice to talk to you about service-related stuff here on Serum Audio, and we will be back in your feed very soon. But like I said, if you want to follow those doc instructions and install a preview of your own, links are in the show notes, and really easy to do. I'll try to do a video on my channel to walk through the actual steps. Probably next week, so we'll see how that goes. But keep an eye out for that. So I'll have links to my YouTube channel. I just restarted my blog, so there'll be a link to that. And Sarah, as always, if someone wants to reach you on the interwebs, how do they do that?
They can reach me at SarahJ_ND on Twitter. Also find me on LinkedIn. Sarah Jelinek there. And then I do have just random, sometimes occasional article on sarahjelinek.com. Feel free to find me there. Otherwise, if you've got a topic you want us to cover as well, let either of us know through social media, and we'd be happy to bring that up here, because we definitely want to serve you as part of this, and find ways to make your life a little bit better. And hopefully, as we go through this pandemic and we go through this, hopefully not new normal, one of these days we'll all get back in conferences and get to see all of us in person. That's the thing I think I miss the most, is being able to give you a hello hug, Shawn, and exactly. Just be able to see everybody. So just keep strong. We're all doing a great job, and super excited to get to talk to you virtually, at least we can. Every month if we can.
My crochet Yoda is still with me at my desk.
Yep. So my baby Yoda came out of quarantine in Seattle, so there he is.
Outstanding.
Yep.
Yay.
Super excited. And for those of my MSU M Dragon fans, I cannot hide my dragon pride.
There you go.
Yoda's wearing the pin. So very cool.
Now I got to get a USF Bulls pin for my Yoda. But
there you go.
I'll work on that. So, all
Sounds
right.
good.
Well, that's outstanding. I'm glad we have matching Yodas. Thank you again for my Yoda.
Mhm.
And with that, I think we'll go back old school and say, with that, we are at your service. Thanks, everybody. If I can